from Electric Kicks, and today we're going to be talking to you about the Aventon Level 2 electric commuter bike. When the original Level came out, people all over America fell in love with it. It was a very, very capable electric bike and it came at a great price. Unfortunately, it never made its way to Australia. That was good news for us in the sense because the first time we got to experience the Level 2 was when it arrived earlier this year. And what a phenomenal piece of machinery this is. Aventon have built this from the ground up to be a commuter bike purebred, and everything on this bike speaks to the urban commuter. One of the biggest differences that we saw on this, and one that's actually changed the direction of Aventon bikes moving forwards, is that this is the first of the Aventon range that comes with a torque sensor. Now, if you don't know what that is, that basically means that the bike detects how hard you are pedaling, and it will dynamically adjust how much power the motor puts out based on how hard you're pedaling. That's a little different from the cadence sensors we've seen on previous Aventons, where they just detect that the pedals are moving and give you power accordingly. And what this gives you is a very, very dynamic and supportive ride that gives you all the help you need when you need it, but when you don't need it, it lays off and lets you just enjoy the ride. The best way of describing the feeling of that, it's like pedaling a bike with superhuman strength. Every stroke that you do seems to do a little bit more than you think it would, and you end up going a lot faster than you perhaps know. But unlike a cadence sensor, if you want to slow down, all you have to do is pedal a little slower and the bike will respond accordingly. It's a very, very natural riding style that doesn't feel too different from riding a regular bike. Outside of that, the Level 2 is powered by a similar rear hub motor that we see on all the Aventon range. This one's a 500 watt Bafang motor with a peak output of 750 watts. The power unit inside the battery, which is also removable, drops out the bottom, is a 48 volt, 14 amp hour battery that puts out just over 600 watt hours. The combination of these two can put this up to a similar speed as the Aventon Adventure of 45 kilometers an hour. But something that the torque sensor affords Level 2 that we don't see on any other bike up to this point in Aventon is it actually has up to 100 kilometer range. And that's because the dynamic power delivery of the torque sensor adjusts itself so well that it cuts out when you don't need it, which is something the cadence sensor isn't set up to do. So not only is this a fast electric bike, but it's also going to get you a very, very long distance before you need to drop the battery out and charge it at home. When we move through the rest of the bike, we also get a lot of features that we're seeing on other Aventons, such as front zoom suspension. We've got similar fully hydraulic disc brakes on the front here with 180 millimeters of rotor. These ones are actually Bengals. You may not have heard of those, but they are big in the United States, and they do a very, very good job of bringing the Level 2 to a stop in a safe and controlled manner. So the Level 2 puts out about 60 Newton meters of torque. That's not quite as much as the Aventon Adventure that we spoke about earlier on, but considering the average for bikes this size is about 50 Newton meters, we're still doing better there. We actually find that it's a little harder to ride up hills because of the cadence sensor and the slightly reduced torque, but that doesn't mean by any stretch of the imagination that this is hard to pedal up hills. And in fact, this is one of the benefits of the torque sensor, is that it will just keep you going at a consistent speed. And as soon as this feels like you're beginning to struggle, it will deliver more power through the motor to help you out. One of the things that we absolutely love about the Level 2 and something that we don't see on a lot of commuter e-bikes is included accessories. So everything you see here, from these front and rear metal fenders to this rear luggage rack here, actually comes included with the bike. They're not optional extras there, you actually get them in the box. And it really goes to speak towards that whole commuter vibe that Aventon's going for. You can store quite a significant amount of weight, 25 kilos on the back of the rear rack here, but the fenders make sure that even riding through puddles, you're not getting splashbacks on the way to work. Every Aventon bike that we've seen to date, we get just a sheer huge amount of attention to detail. And it's the same thing that we see in every single one. We've got these beautiful frames that are hydroformed to make sure that they look good, but they're also strong. So this bike can support about 130 kilos of rider weight, not as high as some of the other models, but to be honest, very few people that will be commuting on a bike will be going over that weight limit. So that makes us very accessible to a wide range of customers. We've got a very ergonomic handlebar layout at the front here with your brakes, your thumb throttle, your controller here, which you use to change your pedal assist modes, all the way through to your speed shifters on the right-hand side there as well. We've got the same integrated front and rear lights, which also double as brake lights on the back as well. We've got that same beautiful welding that makes you question if there's even a weld there at all. We've got the same custom Aventon saddle that's just incredibly comfortable. The Level 2 actually solves a bit of a conundrum for commuters. When we look at what's out there in big retail chains, what we're finding is that the bikes that do everything we want, well, we can't afford them. And the bikes that we can afford, they don't do everything we want. The Level 2 actually fits in this very, very niche spot in the middle by being able to do everything we want at a price we can afford. And sure, it's $3,000, just a little bit over $3,000 price point might put some people off, but for that, you're getting a lot of electric bike here. You're getting a great motor, you're getting a really natural fluid ride. You're getting that color LCD screen, same one that tells you how many trees you've saved by pedaling instead of driving, and how many kilograms of carbon dioxide you've taken out of the atmosphere by not using your car. It's just a very, very well-made bike. And it's all about control as well. So we're looking, your torque sensor gives you control over your speed and control over your acceleration. Your suspension gives you control over rough terrain. Your brakes give you control over stopping, and a solid, rigid frame gives you control over your stability. If you're after a comfortable and supportive ride, whether you want to use this for commuting or whether you just want something that takes a little bit of the pressure off your joints, maybe you don't enjoy cycling the way you used to, this is a perfect bike for you in any occasion. If you want to get your hands on one of these, simply head to electrickicks.com.au, add to cart, you'll get fast and free delivery anywhere in Australia, and you get a 12-month warranty. Head online, get yours today.